If you want to draw a portrait of a child, you need to know that the proportions of the head and face are different from those of an adult. But what are the differences? First, you start drawing circles according to the Loomis method, and the circle should be drawn to include the skull without the lower jaw. Be careful not to include the thickness of the hair. Try to determine the position of the skulls underneath. The heads in this case are upright, not tilted in either direction, not turned. For adults, the horizontal diameter of the circle is the brow line. This little girl's brow line is lower than the horizontal diameter of the circle. For adults, the eye line is usually in the middle of the head. The child's eye line is not in the middle of the head, and the younger the child, the higher the forehead may be. Her eyes are below the midline of her head. What can you do? Study the reference photos. You can observe proportions that will help you get started. The head is not so round like a sphere, so, according to the Loomis method, you have to slice off a fairly thin slice on both sides, 2/3 of the diameter of the big circle. So, you'll get a square. You can use the center of the circle as a starting point. Divide the bottom line into 3 equal parts to get the nose line. Divide the top line into 3 equal parts to get the hairline. Well, in this case, it just helps because the model's hairline is a little bit different from the average face's hairline. It's a little bit higher. The distance between the hairline and the eyebrow line is the same as the distance between the brow line and the nose line. Measure this distance downward after extending the center line. You get the chin line. How to get the eye line? If you look at the whole head, the eye line is in the middle. But if you cannot see the whole head completely in the reference photo, there are other ways to get the eye line. If you divide the line between the brows and the nose into 3 equal parts, you'll get the eye line, in this case, the inner corner line of the eyes. It's important that the inner and outer corners of the eyes are not in line. The inner corners of the eyes are lower. If you split the distance between the eyebrow line and the nasal bones, you get the line across the pupils. There is usually a distance of 1 eye between the 2 eyes. You can observe this also in this photo. If you determine the position of the eyes with the help of dividing the eyeline into 8 equal parts. The inner corners of the eyes help to draw the edges of the nose. The iris helps determine the edges of the mouth. Dividing the distance between the nose line and the bottom of the mouth into 3 equal parts helps to draw the lips. Let's go back to the little girl's face and study the reference photo. If you look at the center line of the face and divide the bottom radius of the circle into 3 equal parts, you have the solution. You get a line that goes through the outer corners of the eyes. And you get a line that goes over the nostrils. If you draw a square in the circle in the same way as for the adult faces, you get about how wide the face is and how much you need to cut off the 2 sides of the imaginary sphere, because the head is a big flat on both sides. You just got 3 equal sections. If you measure this section down once more after extending the center line of the face, you get the chin line. If you cut the top radius of the circle in half, you will get help to draw the hairline. Dividing the eyeline into thirds, you can observe the one-eye distance between her two eyes. The inner corners of the eyes help to draw the edges of the nose. The corners of the mouth are below the pupils, but a little further in. Dividing the distance between the nostrils and the bottom of the mouth in two parts gives the position of the upper lip.